Hello folks and welcome back to Medieval Total War. I am Conostep and this is going to be part 10 of my Viking invasion campaign where I'm playing as the Mercians. And in my last episode I was able to take down the Saxons. Was that my last episode? Or maybe, no, I think I did that 2 episodes ago. And then in my last episode I did attack the Welsh here in Cerniu and I wiped them out. And since then, or I didn't wipe them out, but I just took this province. And since then, the Welsh have been dealing with some issues themselves. They had to deal with a civil war here in their more core territories. And they've lost Gwent to that civil war. And they're also dealing with Viking problems here in Defet and Gwynedd. So now they are just being left with Puis. This is all they have left. This is their new king, in fact. Not really good. Poor guy, he's always drunk. And yeah, there's not much left to his kingdom, so I will be dealing with them, I think, in this episode, as long as I can get my, another army or two ready to go here. I have these armies coming up. They are free now, so they will be moving up to help out soon. However, the Northumbrians did attack a couple episodes ago, so I have to keep a presence here in Deary, and honestly, I probably have to keep a presence here in Rock and Satan as well, just because this is a troop-producing facility for me, and even if I do just retreat to this fort, they can sack some buildings and destroy some of these facilities. So I don't want that to happen, obviously, so I might just keep this army stationed here to ward off any potential attacks. And that's fine. I can, obviously keep this army up here as well in Deary. I have this emissary who's been attempting to get a ceasefire with the Northumbrians. That is not borne any fruit yet, but I can keep trying to get the job done there. And I have some more work to do before I have a stack that's ready here to attack Gwent. But as I said, it's not going to take long before these armies down here are free and, ready to come up. I'm going to keep this army down here for maybe a couple turns, just to kind of make sure that this spy, I want some more peasants down here to garrison this castle. And then the population loyalty should be good enough here so that this army can leave and come back up. But this army is not going to be waiting around. This is being led by my brother. And yeah, he can come back up and lead an army against these provinces here. Now, it's going to be tricky because the Vikings are my allies, and I, of course, do not want to wreck that alliance. So I'm kind of like waiting for the Vikings to lose this province down here in Cantware. I have some armies here in South Sax and East Sax, just kind of waiting to pounce. These are not strong armies. They're spearmen and archers. Just the 2 units that I can train here in East Sax. And I hopefully, hopefully the Vikings lose this at some point, so I can stop stationing armies down here. This feels kind of a waste, but at the same time, I obviously want to take this province when I get the opportunity to do so. So yeah, I'm kind of in a holding pattern right there. And yeah, kind of in a holding pattern up here. But where I'm not in a holding pattern is here. I can attack Gwent soon-ish. I just need a few more units, and then I should be ready to go. So let's see. As far as my navies are concerned, I do have a boat in every single sea region now that I have access to. I don't have any boats that can get in this deep sea region here of Nordsair. And that is what's going to block me from ever having access to the Viking home territories. I can send agents over there, and I can technically conquer those territories by sending agents over there to convert the lands to Catholicism and then like bribing armies and whatnot. It is possible, but that's not going to be my goal in this campaign. My goal is just to accomplish the primary victory here on the British Isles. So regarding my navy, I do want at least 2 boats in every single sea region. I think I'm just going to be going all longboats now that I can train them here in my 2 primary boat building provinces here. And I think it's Lindissi and East Engel. And I'm going to be working on getting some going here. I think in I want to say Dornset was going to be another boat building province. I need to get a bunch of them going just for the late game. It's not super important right now, but I do want at least 2 in each sea region just in case if there's a storm that sinks one of my boats, then that's not going to break my entire trading line that I'm making a bit of income off of. Like, for instance, I want to say I'm not making any income off deafness yet. No, okay. Well, oh, they don't have trade. No, they do not. Yeah, Somerset. So, for instance, like they're making 963 florins. It's not all off trade. I think if I go in here and if I look at Somerset, I'm making 313 florins off of trade with them. And then like Dornset, they have pottery, right? So go back in here, look at Dornset. Yeah, I'm making 199 florins off pottery. And this is showing how many florins I'm making. It's 28 per port that I'm trading it with. So yeah, it's definitely worth the money. And I can get an upgraded trade building if I tech up to it. I'm not necessarily going to prioritize that right now. Maybe I should, honestly. But in Somerset, I have other things I can prioritize because I do also have iron deposits here, so I can use this to train soldiers. And in fact, what my idea is going to be is using West Sax to train my Saxon Huscarls with that sweet +1 Valor bonus, and then retraining them here in Somerset for that armor and weapon bonus. And then Deafness, because it also has iron deposits, this is going to be used to train my heavy cavalry. So I'm going to be working up to getting my royal bodyguards and then eventually my mounted nobles, which are my full strength 40-man unit of heavy cav that's going to be available to me in the late game. So yeah, that's going to be the plan there. Everywhere else, I'm not, yeah, this is going to be agents here in Middle Angle. In fact, I think I'm ready to start working on building my fort, because that is going to give me access to my 3rd tier agent buildings, which is going to give me +3 valor to my assassins and my spies. And then also, I think here in South Sax, I'm working on eventually getting siege equipment. I'm a little bit behind on that, so I'm working on it. Once this fort is finished, then I think I can build the 1st tier siege engineer building. So yeah, there's a few turns left before that's going to be ready, but it is a work in progress. And let's see, yes, I'm also building my title buildings here in Middle Sax. This is just so I can give titles to my generals and give them better stats. And yeah, that's going to be the focus there. Mears and Roken Satan are just focusing on troop production just because of their iron deposits. They're still focusing on that. Nothing has changed. Mostly Fearedmen here in Roken Satan and my armor-piercing troops here in Mears, which are my urban militia, because I get a +1 valor bonus to my urban militia here in Mears. And then also militia sergeants and Saxon Huscarls. I'm just doing a mix of all three. Actually, yeah, actually, yes, I'm not training Saxon Huscarls here anymore. I've switched that production from Mears to, as I mentioned before, West Sax. And yeah, Roken Satan, I was thinking, because I probably could build the Master Blacksmith, which would allow me to train Armored Spearmen here, and I forgot to check the stat comparison between the two units, that being the comparison between Fearedmen and Armored Spearmen. I obviously, like, Armored Spearmen have better armor, and probably better, like maybe better defense as well, but I think Fearedmen do have better stats in other ways. Like, they might have better attack, maybe better morale. I'm not quite sure. I don't think it's quite as one-sided as you would think. But maybe it is. Maybe I'm getting those stats wrong, but off the top of my head, in fact, let me confirm this right now. Yeah, so I just checked the stats on my internet browser on my laptop, and I was correct, actually. I kind of guessed it all right. The Armored Spearmen do have better armor and defense, and then the Fearedmen do have a better attack value, and then they do have better morale as well. And then when you also compare, for instance, like the support cost, well, first off, the construction cost is going to be 50 florins more for the Armored Spearmen than it is for the Fearedmen. Also, the support cost is going to be 50 florins, and the Fearedmen support cost is going to be 37 florins. So you're going to be saving a bit of money off of each Fearedman that you train instead of an Armored Spearman. Also, combine that with the fact that I think Armored Spearmen are available to all factions except for the Vikings, I think. And then the Feared Men are the units that are available to the essentially like the Anglo-Saxon factions, which are the Mercians and the Saxons and the Northumbrians. So it's not really a unique unit, but it's kind of like a culture, like an ethnic unique unit to those factions in a sense. So I feel pretty good about using the Feared Men, pretty much probably just for the entire campaign. Yeah, that's probably fine. And I'm not saying the Armored Spearmen are a bad unit. They probably are very viable. In fact, I used them throughout for most of my Irish campaign as well. It's a good unit. And as long as you're facing off against enemy units that do not have a bonus versus armor, it can do quite well. In fact, if I brought Armored Spearmen versus all of these archers, which do not have a bonus versus armor, and these Celtic warriors, which also do not have a bonus versus armor, I would do quite well. But as it is, I think that my cavalry are going to be doing a good enough job at putting pressure on these Welsh archers, while my infantry cuts through these Celtic warriors. That's going to be my guess. In fact, if I look at this rebel army as well, mostly archers, one regular basic spearman, and then one unit of Celtic warriors, a 2-star general who is a great warrior, and that's it regarding his competency as a general. Well, boo to this, one of my enemy's assassins has managed to kill my princess, and that was just after there was a previous message that had stated that her bodyguards had killed an enemy assassin. So they got one of them, and then the other one got through to her and was able to end her life. That's unfortunate. She's up here. She was just kind of hanging out in Athfatla. That's my guess with that one. Yeah, she was just hanging out here because this is one of the only landlocked provinces that I do not have vision on. So she was just chilling out, and yeah, maybe I should have placed her somewhere else safer. I don't know. In any case, let's see. Harold has died. Oh, that's a bummer. That Harold, I think, that was my 5-star general, which was used to be part of my family, and he was leading a unit of mounted or royal bodyguards. And then, let's see, Aedwulf has died. See, that's here in Deary. Okay. And my spy has been caught here in Cantware. Yeah, I'm trying to use my spy to lower the population loyalty here in Cantware so that I can cause a rebellion here so that the Vikings will get kicked out. And yes. Let's see. My bodyguards have caught a Welsh spy here in Deafness. Okay. The armor has been finished here in Somerset, so now I can use this to retrain my Saxon Huscarls. And the stockade is finished here in Deary. I can't remember what I was building to there. Yep, Border Fort is finished here in Cernew. That's going to help out with the population loyalty. And let's see, the emissary has not been able to get that ceasefire. That's really too bad. And I do have another son on the way. Good. Okay, that's really good news because I did get, I already do have one son on the way. I think he's 11 years old now. And just having another on the way does feel good as well. So, all right, one of my governors, Lord Godrum, down here, he has crack brains. That's not good. That's going to lead to minus 20 happiness for his province, whatever province he is governing. But he is a believer, so plus 1 piety. So if the province that he is governing is very zealous, then maybe that will offset the minus 20 happiness that he's giving them. Let me double check that. And in any case, that's going to be you. Are you the crack brains? No, you are not. It's going to be you, Lord Godrum, Earl of Deafness. So deafness, what do you got? Are you really zealous? Well, you're 55% zealous, and your loyalty is at 200%, but that's because there's an army here. So if I move this army, how are we looking? 163. I would say I'm not too worried about it. Not too worried about it. Now that I have 2 units of peasants here, I can start moving them down to Cernew. And in the meantime, I'm just going to chill out. Right now, I'm going to start building a port there. Christian Shrine would be nice, because that also does give happiness, I believe. It reinforces faith in the province and has a beneficial effect on the happiness and loyalty of its inhabitants. Yeah. Yeah, the Christian Shrine it's a good building, you know, because it gives the +1 morale to any troops that are trained there, but it also does help with the religious conversion and then also, you know, happiness for the occupants. And it's cheap. It's only 50 florins. Takes 2 turns to build. It's a good building. But I think just by leaving this army here for a few turns, I think that's going to help stabilize this region. And by the time these peasants show up, I'll be ready to move this army out there. Here we are a few turns later, and the Royal Mint here in Middlesex has been completed. And this is going to be one of those title buildings, which is going to allow me to give this title to one of my governors. In this case, this is going to be, well, it's a governor title because it does not give any command bonuses. It's just going to be acumen, well, which is good. This is going to increase the income for one of my provinces. So what I would like to do is go in here and see which province is going to be making me the most money. So Somerset right here is going to be making 963, and the East Angle is 902. So let's look at the governors for each of these provinces. Lord Withrick here is going to be the Earl of Somerset, and he has 4 acumen. He has plenty of loyalty, so he does not need the title for that reason, but he can, of course, still make more money for the province, and that is my richest province, so he is a good candidate for that title. And then East Angle making 902, yes, Lord Edward, where are you? Down here. And so he has more acumen. His loyalty, again, is pretty good. But with more acumen, his province is making less income than Somerset. So I would say Somerset is going to be the better candidate here. So let's go back to Lord Withrick. And you can pop out of this stack. So 4 acumen, Earl of Somerset. Yes, you are the guy. Let's give this to you. And what are we at now? Yeah, 1,700 or 1,075 florins. Yeah, pretty good. And I think I can start building the next title building, can't I? Or can I not? No, I have to build a fort first. Okay. Let's see. I was thinking instead, I have not built an abbey yet. Now, I know that I have taken provinces that have already had abbeys built in them, so I've been experimenting with this to see if the Vikings, in fact, are going to be attacking me and breaking their truce with me, or their alliance with me, to take these abbeys, because they can make all that income by sacking it and getting that 2,000 florins. So far, that has not happened. So far, they seem to be good allies. You know, knock on wood, but that seems to be the case. In any case, Middlesex is landlocked, so this would be a good candidate to build this abbey building. Now, it makes a even 208 florins per turn, or per year. It's expensive, and it takes a long time to build. 12 turns is a long time, but, you know, it will make its money back. And it also does give, faith, happiness, and loyalty bonuses. So it seems like a good building, especially a good building to have in a central location like this. So I think I will be building that there, and probably my other landlocked provinces like Middle Angle, Wiche as well. Eventually we'll get it when it's not bordering these enemy provinces. I think will be a good time for it, but yeah, West Sax as well I think will be a good place for it. Yeah, I'll get some abbeys going for sure. I've just had an idea. Since I do have a full army camp here in Rock and Satan, which is just sort of holding the line here and making sure that no one attacks me, whether it's the Northumbrians or the Welsh. But this is an army stack that I do feel comfortable with, and I feel comfortable attacking with. And this army stack is still 4 units away before it's finished, so that's going to be 4 more turns because all of the units that I need are being trained here in Mears, so yeah, 1 unit a turn. It's a kind of a slow process. So instead, how about, you know, just to bring these numbers up, how about I just bring like This army here, it can get finished getting filled up from yours. It's just right there. It's fine. And just for more numbers, bring this stack up as well. And yeah, bring some of these units up. This army can actually like travel down here, and it can prepare to take Cantware whenever it does go rebel. Just because I just have spearmen and archers, so if a rebel army comes into play that has anything formidable at all, I'm going to need some decent units. So yeah, how about my brother's army head down to East Sax, and then yeah, this army is on its way as well. Let's see, you can come up. And then is this enough for numbers? Yeah, now you can come down here to Wiche, and you can get ready to attack Gwent in the next turn. And the king can just continue to hang out here in Mears, just to keep his central influence in a location where it can, you know, reach most of the provinces around him. So yeah, that seems like a better idea instead of just waiting those extra turns. Let's get things let's get things going here. My heir has just matured. Prince Edward has now come of age, and it's going to be time to see what his stats are like. I'm curious. I'd like to know. Keep has been finished here in West Sax. That is going to allow me to build that church building that gives +3 morale for my Saxon Huscarls. And then trader is finished here in Deary, so now we can start making income off of those trade goods there in Deary. Yeah, and I need it because I've been getting this message all too often lately, so yeah, I need more money. Prince Edward, you first. So weak principles, that's not going to matter until he's no longer part of the family, but since he is the next in line, that's never going to matter because he will be king someday. And he is a natural leader, so +2 morale and then +1 loyalty. Good, and he is a 2-star general, so he's just a little bit better than his dad. Let's look at the rest of his stats here as well. He's loyal enough, and then other than that, just completely boring. No acumen, no dread, no piety. But hey, he's alive. And natural leader's a good one. +2 morale is a good basic trait to have if he's going to be leading units in combat, which I don't think I'm going to do with him. I have plenty of better generals, so that's going to be the play there. How's my money looking? Okay, so that's a good bump. I was making like 26 before, and now I'm making 32, and I think Deary, yeah, holy shit, yeah. Antler work and Jet must be making good money. Let's look at that. Yeah. Yep, it's making 56 florins off of each port that it's trading with. Yeah, that's very good. Okay, nice. Very, very nice. And then I'm working on getting the upgraded trader building here in East Engel as well. I should probably do that here in Deary and get the yeah, that upgraded trader building. And now I'm also ready to attack here. Yeah, let's just take Gwent. Archers, spearmen, Celtic warriors, 2-star general, great warrior. Yeah. Not too worried about it. I have my 5-star general, Lord Swithnoth. And he doesn't have anything else that helps him out as a general. Weak principles, so he is potentially bribable, but I gave him one of my governor titles, King's Friend, which I think gave yeah, loyalty and command. So hopefully he stays loyal to me. Yeah, let's take on these rebels. Let's take Gwent. The rebel forces in Gwent will be defending with 520 men, and I will be attacking with 960. It looks like the battleground itself is going to be relatively open. Does not look like there's going to be a ton of force, which should favor my cavalry. And that should allow me to get into their archers. So let's drop a save and let's jump on into the battle. Right off the bat, they are right in front of me with their high ground, with their archers. Yeah, that's not an ideal position for me to be in. I'm not even gonna have time to get my guys set up before they start shooting at me, so let's apply pressure. I have my cavalry units, so let's just get them running here. And let's try to take some of this pressure off of my army as they get set up here. Yeah, they will immediately pull back. Of course, it looks like there's going to be more archers in the forest. What I want to know is, where are those Celtic warriors going to be? I would assume that they're going to be somewhere in the forest, and I don't really want my cav to be jumping on in there. I just wanted to push back those archers so that my infantry could get in position here. And the royal bodyguards are way out of position. In fact, I probably should send my cavalry out to see if we can put some pressure on him. It has started to rain, although I did pick fine weather. And that's okay with me, because that is going to diminish the effectiveness of their archers. So yeah, that actually worked out. And here is the Celtic warriors. They are right there. I'm going to lead with my archers in front because they do have the skirmish advantage. So I'd rather screen with my archers instead of using them to try to get, you know, a skirmish advantage, which I will not, because they have the height advantage and they have the numbers advantage. What I should be using my archers for instead is as a screen. And that's how I intend to use them. So let's actually put them in loose formation. And bring them up, and they can apply pressure. And looks like, okay, so there's some spearmen that are in the vicinity of their general. So we have to be a little cautious here with our cavalry and not let them get caught by those spearmen. It does look like their army is pulling back out of this forest. And they might be regrouping, yeah, further up this hill. So they're just going to make me march on and just keep marching on. And that is fine. I will march forward with my archers and my spears in the middle. And on my right flank, I will have my urban militia and my huscarls going wide. And then on my left flank, my militia sergeants, which are kind of struggling. They're having a hard time with all their armor getting up that hill. And then my general as well. Not used to having generals on foot, but he needs to keep up, man. Keep up. See, it's funny, the huscarls, you know, they have a lot of armor too, but they don't seem to be huffing and puffing as much, these militia sergeants. It says they're quite fresh, but they're moving pretty slow. This enemy is really making me chase, so let's hope that that's their final spot where they've picked. I'm just going to keep on coming at them. Now it is looking like they want to take some shots at my mounted sergeants, and I will respond to that in kind. In fact, if they want to send more archers, I will send more cavalry, and infantry can follow up. Here and here and here. General keep pace right here. And this is going to be a good catch on a couple units of archers. I don't need to fully commit here. I don't really want to get chewed up by those Celtic warriors. Let's kind of back up here. And let's back up here as well. Yeah, now we're taking point blank shots from those archers. It does not feel good. You guys can start running, and you guys can run as well. But now my archers are just about in position here, and they can start applying pressure. Yeah, can we get some shots in on these Celtic warriors? They have 0 armor. They're shirtless. So let's get in there and let's get ready to fight them with my militia sergeants. And feared men as well. Archers, you can draw back. And let's see, where are the spearmen? I know there are some spearmen. Yeah, there's a unit of spearmen there. Let's get my mounted sergeants back in. And let's follow up with my other unit, or my other section as well. And let's try to break in through there. And let's try to apply pressure on this side as well. Archers keep up, and Fearmen just kind of go on in. Let's apply pressure now, and General, you can keep up as well. And now we have them on the run, so let's just kind of bring archers up. You guys can go in melee for all I care. I just want to stop these enemy archers from shooting. And we have to keep an eye on this, because when this general decides to engage, I want to make sure that I have some armor-piercing units that are around him. Yeah, these Celtic warriors are pretty much all done for. Spearmen, they are now running away as well. So, let's try to get my cavalry around to the side here, so that we can sort of stop him from running away whenever he decides to. And let's get my militia sergeants up here as well. This squadron of horsemen can continue to run down these archers. Urban militia chase here, and then, yeah, archers chase. You are fast enough to apply pressure, so keep going there. And it looks like their general is now engaged. So I've horsemen fighting, mounted sergeants coming in for a rear charge, militia sergeants coming in for bonus versus armor attacks. And let's see, we have some archers here that are probably going to get away, unfortunately, but yeah, we will have to fight a siege battle here. And gosh, I can't quite remember. Is it do they have a fort here? They might have a fort here. Let's try to run down as many of these guys as possible. Awesome, so we did capture the enemy general, and now we're just going to run down the few remaining units that are still on the field. And that's going to do it. So, yeah, we did lose 95 men, but we captured 282, killed 214. Let's see, these mounted sergeants got a point of valor, and then these militia sergeants, 2 of them got a point of valor as well. And these mounted sergeants also did well. Yeah. Good. Getting some good experience on these units. Gwent is now mine, and I will release these captured rebels just so that this general can get a mercy trait, possibly. And then bandits and Peck Satan. So this is one of the provinces that was... I thought it was held by the Northumbrians, but it looks like the Vikings took it, and now there's bandits there. So, okay. A lot of action there in Peck Satan. And then, yes, the Vikings are dealing with some unrest in Cumbria as well. Let's see, the Welsh have the happiest people. Okay, well, that's good for them. Let's see. Okay, so there's a flood in Dornset. Luckily, nothing was destroyed, but income has been halved here in Dornset. And now the siege engineer is finished here in South Sax, so now I can start building some ballistas and some catapults to help me get into these fortifications. Drinking Hall is finished in Somerset. I was being silly. I started building my armor upgrade buildings and my weapon upgrade buildings here in Somerset, and I didn't even have the ability to train Huscarls, so I couldn't even retrain Huscarls with those armor upgrades that were being trained in West Sax. So I'm working on it. I'm working on fixing that mistake. Blacksmith is finished here in Cernu. I needed to think of something that I should train here. I probably can just use a secondary province to train feared men or militia sergeants. I do have iron deposits here, so this can be another good training province. Lord Egbert is a builder, so +10 happiness for him. And Gwent, what does Gwent offer me? I can't see how much money I can make here, but it does have iron deposits, so this can be yet another training province. Oh yeah, it gives the +1 valor to archers. Right. Awesome. That's going to be useful. I can use that to make that my training province for archers. So how long is this going to take? This is going to take 6 turns for this to fall naturally. It's just 1 Celtic warrior and 19 archers, so I'm definitely going to go on in there. It's just a warrior hold, which is just the tier 1 fortification, so it should not be an issue to take that down with just my forces. You would think now that the Northumbrians, they just lost 2 territories to the Vikings. Would they take a ceasefire? Come on, guys. Be cool. Be cool, Northumbrians. And this just, I can't believe this. I've been trying to send spies down here to Cantware to tank the population loyalty and cause a rebellion, but they just keep getting caught. I am working on building that building that's going to give +3 valor to my spies, so maybe a higher valor spy will work out, but man, oh man. This goddamn border fort is just catching all of my dudes. I can finally now build artillery pieces here in South Saxe, and it's funny how in the Viking invasion campaign they made the first tier siege engineer building be capable of building both ballistas and catapults. In the grand campaign in Medieval Total War, the first building allows you to build ballistas, and the second building allows you to build catapults, which makes more sense just because the catapult is so much better than the ballista. The ballista in this game it's pretty useless. It doesn't do much for you. Now, it can be used against some fortifications, and in this campaign, in the Viking invasion campaign, since the fortifications are so weak and low tier, the ballista will do the job against, well, most fortifications. In fact, even the tier 4 fortification in this campaign, which is the fort, the ballista will break down the gate of the fort. Now, will it break down the walls, like just the wall section of the fort before it runs out of ammunition? I cannot answer that for you. I don't know, but I'm willing to test that out to see if a ballista will get the job done. Now, for those of you who know what a ballista is, it makes more sense that a ballista would be better against, well, personnel, right? It's a personnel killer. It's a giant arrow or a bolt, and it should be able to pierce through multiple bodies of people. Like that's, that should be what it does. Well, it does not. It only hits one person at a time in this game, which feels stupid. That's a kind of a dumb thing, right? Also, it's very inaccurate. Like it can't hit anything. However, something that one of my viewers has reminded me of, and they said that they've tested this themselves, not necessarily with a ballista, but they did remind me that a general's valor boost to its units does increase the accuracy of ranged units. Now, when you think of archers and whatnot, those units typically get the job done, and you just kind of forget about that valor boost. But for units with very low accuracy, like gun units and perhaps some of these artillery units, maybe that valor boost can really help them out with getting their hits in. And of course, with gaining their own experience and getting more kills, they will gain valor themselves. It's just hard to get them that initial valor to begin with. So that's an interesting thing for me to experiment with, because ballistas, in theory, if they could hit anything, would make a decent way to kill enemy generals. That being, again, in like the Grand Campaign, it'd be like the Royal Bodyguards, or the Royal Knights, should I say, or the Gulam Cavalry. Units that have high armor that can be hard to deal with for early game armies in the Grand Campaign. And in this game, it's no different, really. For instance, if you were fighting Vikings, in the early game, well, their generals are not mounted. It's units of huscarls, Viking huscarls, and they're on foot, obviously. Well, it should be easier to hit them, right? Because it's a bigger unit and they're moving slower. So it makes you wonder, you know. However, the catapult has a rock that bounces, you know, so it doesn't just hit its spot and then just kills the things in that spot. It will continue to bounce and kill things that are in the trajectory of its bounce, which is really neat how that's modeled in this game that is this old. So the catapult is a good weapon, obviously, and it's also good against fortifications. That's typically the primary role of a catapult, is knocking down a wall or a gate, right? Now, the way that it's balanced between these two units, well, the ballista is 50 florins cheaper to build, so there is that. If you're on a budget, the ballista can get the job done in the, you know, again, when you're a little bit poorer. As far as support costs, really not much of a difference. 10 for the ballista, and then 12 for the catapult. Not much of a difference. Training time for both the units is 2 turns. Again, not much of a difference. So if you're just going for the meta, catapult all the way, really. If you want to play around with something that might be a little bit different, and if you want to see if you can find ways to make it work, you can try the ballista. I always like trying different units and seeing if I can make things work. Thinking about using the general's valor to increase accuracy makes me really wonder if I can make this work with ballistas. For the purpose of current, like just right now, I think I'm just going to use this unit to try to break down fortifications. I'll build a few of them. I eventually will move on to catapults. Don't you worry. But again, I can justify it by saying that I'm saving money, which I am. So I can build 3 of those to start off with. Also, these weapons cause fear, which is a morale debuff to any units, but it has to hit. It has to kill for that unit to have that morale debuff. So that's another thing where if the valor from a general, you know, helps it hit something, even if this ballista is only hitting, you know, one individual unit at a time and only killing one model at a time, if it just does enough to cause fear in a unit, that might also make it worth it on the battlefield. So there's that to consider as well. This should be a nice, easy battle here to get rid of these last remaining rebels here in this castle, or should I say this warrior hold here in Gwent. So let's just jump on in. I plan on using my archers to get rid of their units, and I might not even have to actually assault the fortification itself. I intend on keeping a fair distance with most of my army here, but I can bring up my archers in loose formation to move within range of the units inside this warrior hold, and yeah, just rain down hell. Get rid of them. 3 units of archers are now firing at this single Celtic warrior here, and so far he remains undamaged. Archers are in the back. You know what? I said that I will not be bringing my infantry in, or my melee units, but I changed my mind. Militia sergeants, get in there. In fact, I can even bring my cavalry up as well. Now that the clash has started, my archers, I want to bring them forward so they won't continue to shoot on in. And yeah, wow, that was fast. Jesus. You guys did not waste much time. There's only, what, 1 left? 1 archer left, and then Gwent will be mine. Yeah, there's always this weird path fighting here. There's like this invisible sort of boundary around the warrior hold. But you know what, my guys? Where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, that did not take long. 1 little whack, and he was down. I did lose 2 men. But Gwent is now mine, and now I can train some +1 Valor archers. Yeah, that's going to be pretty sweet. Let's see, Catholic bandits here included. Nice. That means I can take that. Hope soon. I should jump on that right now, actually, before the Vikings take it back. And then, okay, I'm getting lucky here. So, another flood here in East Engel. Again, nothing was destroyed, but income was halved again. So, yeah, that's living lucky. the Cunniwarren. Awesome name for a building. This is going to be giving the +3 valor to my spies here in Middle Angle. And the fortified village, which is going to allow me to... Yeah, I'm still teching up to my mounted nobles here in Deafness. And man, the Northumbrians they're just obstinate. Jesus, they still, after losing 2 provinces to the Vikings, they still do not want a ceasefire. Man, oh man. What a bunch of dummies. Lord Godrum, he is a devout believer and acts in accordance with his beliefs. +2 piety. Yeah, we have to jump on this. There's just a single archer unit here in Clwyd, and there is a single horseman unit here in, where is this? Pexaiton. He is a 2-star general, but still, it's just 1 unit. So I have to jump in there and take on these 2 provinces right away. Even if the Vikings do jump on in here in Clwyd, like they would just be helping me out and I would still take the province, which would be nice. I need to do that pronto. Still down here. Yeah, the Viking king is down here in Cantware. They're just hanging on to it. Jesus. Man, oh man. It's not making them that much money. I have my armies down here. They're ready to go. My brother came over to East Axe, and he's just there. Got some Huskarls here. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take Cantware, and they are just hanging on to it. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. But at least I will be able to take these 2 provinces with anything, really. Like, anything that I have here in Rock and Satan. Yeah. I can just split, for instance, this army up and just take both provinces all in one go. And, yeah, there might be a counterattack from the Northumbrians. What I could also do is I can just bring more armies from Years to Rock and Satan and then bring these both stacks up, you know, 1 to Clwyd, 1 to Pexaiton, and that would lessen the chances of there being a counterattack from the Northumbrians into Pexaiton. So that is going to be the idea going forward. But you know what? That is all going to have to wait until next time. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this one, and thank you very much for watching. This has been Concept playing Medieval Total War Viking Invasion. Thank you very much, and goodbye.